What's going on, at-home learners? This is Mr. Arthur, 5th grade science teacher at Cypress Grove Intermediate School. Today I'm here to model for you guys the formation of fossil fuels. This time we're going to be creating a model using cereal to represent the formation of fossil fuels over time. We'll discuss all the things that are needed to make fossil fuels. I'm going to build a model which you guys are going to observe in the video. You're going to draw your model in your science journal. So to do that, you need to draw 2 empty cups, one on the top half of your journal, one on the bottom half. An example looks like this. So you'll need 2 of them, one on the top half of your page and one on the bottom half. This is going to be used to represent your before and after picture for your model, right? I'm going to turn the lights on and I'm going to show you guys exactly how we'll build the model. I'll show it to you so you can observe it in the video and then record your observations in your journal, all right? So to begin, we're going to take Cocoa Krispy cereal, right? And in this bag, we have some coffee, right? And what I'm going to do is I'm going to crush up the cereal as best as I can. Probably put it on the table, trying to use my fist to crush it up. This represents the weathering or the breaking down of the sediments into tiny pieces, right? And what I'm going to do after it's been crushed and weathered, I'm going to erode these sediments by carrying them to a new location, and then I'm going to deposit them in my cup. All right. So this will be the first layer of rock that we put down. The Cocoa Krispies and the coffee represent the remains of organic animals, plants that have been left behind. I'm also going to add a little bit of salt. This salt represents microscopic animals that died and got buried in the layer, okay? Now, what I'm gonna do next is I'm going to add different layers of candy that represent different forms of rock. Our Fruit Loops are going to represent sandstone, and I'm going to crush each rock before I add it. Remember, the breaking down of rock into tiny bits is known as weathering, so that's what I'm representing right now. All right. After those sediments have been nice and weathered, they are eroded or carried to a new location, and then they are deposited. Okay. And we've been learning that as different sediments are deposited, they form layers, right? So these Fruit Loops, again, represent sandstone, a layer of sandstone. Next, I'm going to use corn flakes to represent a layer of shale rock, right? These corn flakes are really brittle, easy to break up, just like shale. Shale is a rock that's easily broken apart. So after our sediments have been weathered down, we carry them to a new spot and deposit them in our model. So, just added our 3rd layer of rock. Remember, this layer represents shale, okay? And finally, we're going to add a final layer of sand represented by Cheerios cereal, okay? I'm going to do my best to weather down the cereal as best as I can, breaking it up. Use the table to help me. All right. And over time, we have some nice sand that gets carried and deposited in a new location. So this process is a process that takes millions of years, right? And over time, you can see the different layers of sediment that have been formed, okay? Now, you don't only need weathering, erosion, deposition to create fossil fuels. It's important to remember that you also need heat and pressure, okay, and a little bit of water to also represent the ocean water that these animals lived in, or the lake that these plants fell into, right? So I'm going to add just a tad bit of water to our model to represent that. Okay. And then to represent heat and pressure, what I'm going to do is I'm going to insert a second cup into my model, and I'm going to use my fist to press down, right? And that's going to represent pressure, right, over time. So here we go. I want you to observe what happens as you see me pressing down. Okay. Notice what's happening to the layers of sediment as they are being compacted. And notice how the water is acting like the minerals we discussed that hold the rock sediments together. Right? So after pressing down on the model and adding heat and pressure, you can see, right, an after image, and notice how the layers have been compacted. This brown liquid that kind of got created, this would represent the oil or coal that's been formed, the bottom layer of our model. So your job now is to draw a before and after picture of this model. We want to see what it looked like before we added heat and pressure, and we'd like to see what it looks like after adding heat and pressure. After you've drawn your model in your science journal, make sure to take a picture of it, send it to your teacher, and then you're answering the reflection questions that go along with this lab in Schoology, right? Again, like always, if you have any questions, please contact us. We'll do our best to help you out. Hope you guys are staying safe. Until next time, see you around. Bye.